Okay. ABCD is a rhombus. What appears to be true about that rhombus? RHOMBUS. Plural is rhombi. RHOMBI. Angelo, what appears to be true about that bad boy?
It's a parallel.
Ooh, how could we check that?
Well, you need angle measures.
Okay, so you want to use angle measures? Because I can check angles on that. Normally we can't check angles, but I can check angles on Sketchpad.
Yeah.
Okay, so this, give me a second here, this takes a little bit of work. Measuring the angles here. So angle D is, measure angle 35.02, and angle B, what should angle B be?
35.02.
35.02. And angle B, measure angle B, 35.02. And angle A, well then how big should angle A be if it's a parallelogram?
145.
144.98, which would also make angle C.
But then it won't be a parallelogram.
Thank you, Angelo. So now we know it's a parallelogram because if the opposite sides are congruent, then that quadrilateral must be a parallelogram. So all rhombi are also parallelograms. Now, one of the nice things about Sketchpad is that if I move those points around, these numbers will change. However, the relationship stays the same.
So are you saying?
Watch this. Woo! Still a rhombus. Still a, yes, sir.
So are you saying that technically a rhombus is just a parallelogram turned this way?
Well, I don't know. That's what we're trying to figure out. What distinguishes a parallelogram from a rhombus is the question. So the first thing you told us is that all rhombi are parallelograms, which is good, so that anything that applies to a parallelogram must also apply to a rhombus. So what makes it special, though?
I don't know. I think they're the same shape for me.
So parallelograms and rhombi are the same thing?
Well, they look like the same shape.
Maybe the sides are congruent.
I'm sorry, what?
Maybe the sides are all congruent.
I can check that.
Oh, wait.
I love the fact that there's like 8 people with their hand in the air and Carter just throws it right out there.
Yeah, really.
Sorry.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, so she threw out. her
Uh-huh.
answer.
Yeah, at least he had the right answer, didn't throw out some completely invalid thing.
It's
Alright, so it appears that the sides are congruent. Well, how does that make, whoa, look at that. How does that make that different from a parallelogram? Ow. Sure for that. What do you want?
Also say,
Please.
in a parallelogram, only like the two opposite sides are congruent.
Good. All 4 sides are congruent. Emma,
Is there a way to check the diagonals?
what would you like to check about the diagonals?
To see
How about I throw some diagonals in first and then we can talk? Alright. What color would you like them to be, Emma?
red.
Red. Good call. Alright, so here's my diagonals. And what about those diagonals would you like to check, Emma?
See how they relate to each other.
Meaning?
If they're the same length.
Same length. Okay, we can check that. Do they appear to be the same length, by the way? No, but we can check it. Nope, they are not the same length. What if they were the same length? What will we know about it? It'd be a rectangle, correct. What else you want to check?
Is there a way to check?
Look at you raising your hand. Sorry.
Is there a way to check to see if they bisect each other?
Certainly. Watch this. Through the magic of technology, I can just highlight the diagonal and hit M for the midpoint. So that's the midpoint of one of them. And then here's the midpoint of the other one. And nothing happened because it just put it on top of itself. So they share the same midpoint. So what?
They bisect each other?
Right. But we already knew that because Angelo told us it's a parallelogram. still valid information. So we're still looking for things that make the rhombus special or different from the parallelogram. We have the fact that it has 4 equal sides. Michael?
It looks like the midpoint has like 4 like 90-degree angles.
Are you saying the diagonals are perpendicular?
Yeah, this one's.
How would I check that?
Put an angle.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh. Use your little tool. Oh.
To do what?
Go A to the midpoint to D. And then hit.
What am I measuring?
Measure angle.
Oh, you want to measure angles?
Yeah.
I don't want to measure angles, too much work.
Well, she just. Slow.
Slope. I can do slope. Calculate, well, no, I can't. Hold on. Now I can't. Measure slope. Oh,
That's
look
sick.
at that.
It made it hard.
Didn't mean for that to happen.
Kind of jealous.
Slope, and then I think we can hide that. Hide grid. And get
Ball.
rid of this. Hide, what is that thing? I don't want that there. Go away. Okay,
How it fades away.
And they're just
so there's one slope, there's the other. Does that tell you anything?
I can get some.
Not really. If they are perpendicular, what is that?
It's got snake bites.
Oh, that's true.
Um,
Let's just go for another day.
that doesn't tell us anything because the program won't give us the slopes in fraction form. However, if 2 lines are perpendicular, their slopes are what?
Opposite reciprocal.
Opposite reciprocals. So what happens if I multiply those 2 slopes together? What should I get? 1? No, not 1. It's not 1.
0.
No, it's not 0. Not 1. What do you think? Because you say 1 and then I say no, you go to 0, then it's going to be 1 when you come back. That's not the truth. It doesn't work that way. You don't know. Alex.
-1.
Negative 1.
-1.
Let us check, shall we?
You got it wrong, Jack. You tried to give me the answer, but it was wrong.
Zach, are you feeding him wrong information?
No, not me.
It's brilliant if you are, but.
Jack.
I was,
Oh, hey, look at that! It's negative 1.
I was just an innocent bystander.
All right, so what does that tell us?
Wait,
It's
That
negative.
they're
All right, I'll wait.
Ooh.
Wait, why do we have that?
He's waiting on you, Nick.
Can I be done waiting? Yes?
wait.
They're equal.
Too slow.
First of all, I
Reciproc-
hate pronouns. What's they?
The 2 slopes are
I don't know what
opposite
we're
reciprocals of each other.
Which means what?
They are perpendicular. The
You-
2 lines are
The
perpendicular.
lines. What lines? There are no lines.
Line AC and line BD.
AC
are
is not a line.
Segment.
The diagonals
Okay,
are perpendicular.
beautiful. And are the diagonals, Angela, let's go back to you since you started this mess. Are the diagonals normally perpendicular in a parallelogram? Thank you, Angelo. No. Excellent.
Wait,
So now, Dee
my calculator says that's not the answer.
I'm sorry, your calculator says what?
That's not the.
Well, I
That's
think that's
not, no,
round
that's
up.
not right.
This is a rounding. This rounds to 2 decimal places. In the background, it gives you the exact answer, which is a big, long, honking thing.
It just said negative mark.
I don't care what it says.
I was just confused, but that's what you're gonna do on a test, that's like. Yeah.
So notice if I drag the points around, the shape changes, but it appears that certain things are not changing. It appears that this calculation is not changing, but it's actually changing every single time I move the points a little bit, because it's always going to be true. The big argument then is this program a valid proof? In other words, if I had to prove that the diagonals were congruent, would this be an acceptable proof? And I don't have an answer for that. All right, anything else? So we know it's a parallelogram. We know it has 4 equal sides, which just differentiates it from a parallelogram. We know the diagonals are perpendicular. Anything else? Alec?
Does that mean that all the angles that the diagonals make are right angles?
by the fact that it's perpendicular, yes. Michael?
Oh, I mean, we kind of already know this, but it hasn't like been said. It makes 4 congruent triangles.
Well, that's kind of important. By the way, how many triangles in that picture?
Oh, 8.
8. So which 4 are you talking about?
The B midpoint, C midpoint.
These 4 that we're seeing.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, everybody with him? All 4 of these are congruent. Why are they congruent? Well, you got 4 right angles. This is equal to this is equal to that. Side angle, side over and over again. 4 congruent right triangles. What about the other ones? What about triangle ACD and ACB? What kind of triangles are those? Isosceles, correct. What about triangle BCD and BAD? Because I'm bad. I'm bad. Okay, I'm on it. It's Michael Jackson, by the way, in case you didn't know. I don't think that. I'm sorry, what are they? Isosceles, correct. Okay. Anything else? So there's a lot. Yes?
Well, I have like a question. So you can obviously tell that a rhombus isn't a rectangle because the angles aren't 90 degrees, but is a rectangle a rhombus?
Ooh. Excellent question. Hold on, let me throw it out to the masses. So what she wants to know, well, let's talk about the big picture. We've got a parallelogram. We know that a rectangle is a parallelogram, but a parallelogram, no, I said that backwards. We know that no, that's right. A rectangle is a parallelogram, but a parallelogram is not a rectangle. And now we have a rhombus. And we know that a rhombus is a parallelogram, but no. Yes, but a parallelogram isn't necessarily a rhombus. Her question is a rectangle a rhombus and or is a rhombus a rectangle?
No, I already said the rhombus wasn't a rectangle.
It's not?
Wait, it could be.
It is?
It's not.
It's not.
Wait, I don't know.
It does not form 90-degree angles.
Oh.
Oh, it doesn't.
It's not.
It's not. So you're saying that a rhombus can never be a rectangle? If I drag those corners to make it not.
A rhombus can be a rectangle, but a rectangle can't be a rhombus.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, I think
So-
you're
Or wait, no, they're interchangeable.
They're interchangeable. They're the same
But then
thing.
there are some shapes that don't apply to both. Or that don't apply to the other.
What? Okay, Nick?
I believe a rhombus is only a rectangle when the rectangle is in like the square form.
A square? I don't know what that word means.
That's not even what we're
What
talking
is-
about.
No, because a square is a
Some
rhombus.
booty.
Hey, we don't know what a square is though.
What's that word?
Yeah.
Sounds Swedish.
For all the languages you choose to read. Alec?
Would you prefer like Chinese?
You can choose whatever you want. This is America.
Do the diagonals bisect the angles? Bisect like, does diagonal BD bisect A, B, C?
I'm going to allow somebody else to answer that question, which, by the way, is a great question. Everybody understand it?
No.
Are these two angles equal is what he's asking.
Oh.
Michael, are these two angles equal? Yes, why? There's a reason why I picked you.
Put your hand down, Nate.
I knew it though.
Oh, because they're all congruent triangles.
Beautiful. Are these two angles equal? Are these two angles? Yeah. So the answer to your question is yes. The diagonals also bisect the vertex angle. Is that true in a rectangle?
No.
Nope. Is it true in a parallelogram? Nope. Carter.
I think I figured out the rectangle thing. A
Okay.
rhombus is not a rectangle, and a rectangle is only a rhombus when it has 4 equal sides. That's true. Because the
Interesting.
What about if the
I
rhombus
feel like
is
if a
90
rectangle
degrees?
that forms.
All right. Let's table that discussion for a little bit and move on because we're running out of time. Let's move on to the square.
I was swimming yesterday. 2 reasons.
I know you are.
2 reasons.
Patricia, tell me about a square. It has 4 right angles. Good. Anything else?
All the sides are congruent.
Okay. Anything else?
They should have angle bisectors that will bisect at the same point.
Angle bisectors that will intersect at the same point. So if I come over to this vertex and construct the angle bisector. Angle bisector. I get that. So I should do another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case. So should we ask you what color you want it to be?
So what?
So they should bisect at the same point when checking for like midpoint.
How do you bisect a ray though? Let's back up to your original statement. You said it has 4 right angles. What do we get out of that?
4 equal triangles.
No. If it has 4 right angles, what else do you know about that square?
It adds up to 360.
That's just because it's quadrilateral. What else? What other shapes have 4 right angles?
Rectangles.
Is that a rectangle?
No.
It's not?
No.
By definition though, we had a rectangle being a quadrilateral with 4 right angles, correct? Does that have 4 right angles?
Yeah.
Is that a rectangle?
Yeah.
So squares are rectangles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are rectangles squares?
No.
Okay, you also said it has 4 equal sides. Therefore, it must also be,
A parallelogram.
you jumping the gun,
Rhombus.
a rhombus. So all squares are rhombi.
Yes.
Are all rhombi square?
No.
No. Okay. So that thing is a square, a rectangle, and a rhombus. What else is it? It is equilateral, good. Not what I was looking for, but a valid point. It's also equiangular.
Parallelogram.
Beautiful, it's a parallelogram. Anything else?
Quadrilateral.
Quadrilateral, anything else? Polygon, yeah. Anything else? No. That's the granddaddy of them all. Okay. It's a rhombus, a rectangle, a parallelogram, a quadrilateral, and a polygon. Okay. So anything that applies to any one of those applies to the square. Pretty much in a square, if you think it's true, probably is. Opposite sides are equal, opposite sides are parallel, 4 right angles, diagonals bisect each other, diagonals are perpendicular. Splits it into 4 congruent triangles from the rhombus, but also splits it into 4 isosceles triangles from the rectangle. Nathan?
Would the statement be that all are squares, but not all squares are,
No,
or would it be the other way around?
do the other way around.
Okay.
Now, yes, sir?
Does it have all the properties of the rectangle and the rhombus? The squares?
Yep. Because it's a rectangle and a rhombus.
Are squares anything else?
Are squares anything else? Charming?
Diamonds.
No personifications in math class.
Oh. Should we just reprimand him? What just happened there?
Are squares like different parallelograms? Can they be different parallelograms?
You think that's a technique? Let me try to see it. Let me see how it works. How do you work that? This time. She asks a specific question. Usually that works when they just make a statement. You know. Right. I have a pet hamster. That kind of thing. But questions, it's hard to, technique doesn't work very well with questions.
Or it'll just confuse them.
Yeah. That one way it would work is they just get confused and be quiet. Or you and I just keep talking if she forgets what question she asked. What else would you like a square to be?
Whatever it wants.
Can't be a triangle. Stop saying silly things, Carter. It can't be a triangle.
You're crushing his dreams, man.
Here's your level change
It's
form.
what I want it to be.
Why can't it be?
You asked what I wanted
The
to
square
square.
to be a
I
naked
wanted
wall,
it to be a
right?
triangle. It's not going to
Well, this is gonna be an interesting chapter test, isn't it?
probably.
All right, so we haven't, yes, Wilma?
Is it also a shape?
It is. I have not ignored your question, Kelly. Eventually, we're going to put together a nice little graphic as to what's what. So we'll have the golden retrievers, the dogs, the canines, the whole bit in there, and talk about something called the hierarchy, but that comes later.
What's our homework?
The next day,
Is that
day
7.
Rhombi Squares, yeah. It's not up there yet, I'll put it up as soon as we're done here. All right, we good? All right.
Yes.